Hello, children. This is my new video based on the poem In the Bazaars of Hyderabad. So, let's start with the explanation. In the Bazaars of Hyderabad, written by Sarojini Naidu. At first, we are going to start about the poetess. I'll give you a brief description about Sarojini Naidu. Sarojini Naidu was born on 13th February 1879 and she died on 2nd March 1949. Her full name was Sarojini Chattopadhyay. She was also known as the Nightingale of India. She was a child prodigy, means she was excellent, she was a scholar. She was also an Indian independence activist and poet. Naidu was one of the formers of Indian constitution. She was the first Indian woman to become the president of Indian National Congress. Here you mark, she was the president not of the nation but of the political party, that is Indian National Congress. She was the first woman to become the governor of Uttar Pradesh state. Her birthday is celebrated as Women's Day all over India. The Palanquin Bearers is one of her noted works. Noted works means her noted poems. That is one of her famous poems. Now, moving towards the next section of the slide about the poem. In this particular section, I'm going to discuss with you all the glimpse of the poem. So let us start with the first para. In this poem, Sarojini Naidu describes the colors and sounds of various stalls in the bazaars of Hyderabad, the city where she was born and spent her childhood. It is said that the poem In the Bazaars of Hyderabad was the part of Swadeshi movement, an Indian freedom movement. The poet wanted to deliver the message that traditional Indian products made of pure materials were of very high quality. The people were not only selling things like grains, fruits, spices, clothes, jewelries, and game stuffs, but also providing amusement to the folks. Like magicians and musicians, means these were the people, they were providing entertainment, they were giving entertainment to the common people. Thus, it can be said that that the poem represents the rich native Indian culture, which is varied in diversity and self-sufficiency. Now, when we talk about the structure of the poem, I'll talk about the two basic things here: rhyme scheme, that is A B C B D B, and other literary devices which are used in this poem mainly are imagery and myth. About imagery and myth, we are going to discuss later on in this video. Now, let us start with the text. On the screen, you can see on each and every screen, you will see one line is written, and just below the line, how it I am going to explain it. It's written. So the poem starts with a line with a question, that is, what do you sell, O ye merchants? So here the poetess asks the vendors, the sellers, what are the merchants, what are they selling, what do you sell, O ye merchants? Now just below that it's written, ye means an old fashioned word for you, means Sarojini Naidu has used the traditional technique of writing the poem. That is why she has used some old words. So it is an old fashioned word for you. Then, richly your wares are displayed. Now, those merchants, they were selling goods, and those goods were richly displayed on the at the street. Turbans of crimsons and silver. What other things they had, means in the goods, what they had? So they had turbans of crimson and silver. At the picture you can see there is a turban, and this turban having silver brocade, gold and silver brocade, but particularly here we are talking about silver. So turbans of crimson and silver. Now, crimson is what? Turban, as I have given you the meaning, a covering made by long piece of cloth worn specially by Sikh and Muslim men. So, this is a kind of cap in those days, in ancient days, people used to wear. Now, crimson is a dark red color. Now, next line, tunics of purple brocade. Here I didn't get the get the picture of tunic, so I did not post it here. So I have just placed the picture of purple brocade. So on the screen you can see purple brocade, how it looks like it's given. Now, tunic is a kind of piece of clothing that fits loosely over a person's body. So it is a kind of loose cloth, loose short cloth. In those days, people used to wear. And brocade is actually the border of a cloth. So a thick, heavy fabric with a raised pattern. Mirror with panels of amber. What other things they were selling? So they were also selling mirrors. Now, mirrors with panels of amber. Panels of amber means there is a border in the mirror, and that border is only referred as here panel. As you can see on the screen, meaning is given a flat rectangular part that fits into something larger. Here panels are of amber. Now, amber, what are amber? As you can see on the screen, arrow is given. Amber, a hard yellowish brown substance. So they were selling mirror with panels of amber. Now, daggers with handles of jade. Now, they were also selling daggers. Now, daggers means, so daggers are small pointed knives which people used to keep in those days. Even at, even nowadays also, some people like Sikh, they always keep daggers with them. Now, jade. As you can see, the handle part of the dagger is made up of jade. So it is a hard stone that is usually green. Here it is dark green. On the handle, the green stone is jade. Now, this is the second stanza, and second stanza also starts with a question. What do you weigh, O ye vendors? Weigh means here to measure, and vendor means the people who were selling the things. Now, the second question which she asked, that what do you weigh, O ye vendors? Saffron and lentil and rice. Now, saffron is a kind of herb. On the picture, you can see the reddish herb. The first picture, just below description is also given. So, saffron, it is a kind of herb obtained from a flower used as a spice to give color and flavor to food. Second picture is of lentil, and the third one is variety of rice. So, they were also selling things like saffron, lentil and rice. What do you grind, O ye maidens? Now there were some young, ladies, some young girls, and they were grinding something. What are the stuffs which they were grinding? That is given. They were grinding sandalwood, henna, and spice. On the picture, you can see first picture first picture spice, second picture sandalwood, and the third one henna. So sandalwood is a light colored hardwood of a tree, which has a very good fragrance and has medicinal values, and it is also offered at religious places in Hindus. So that is sandalwood. In Hindi it is called chandan. Now, henna, you know that in Hindi it is called mehndi. And spice, the first picture is of spice. Various kinds of spices we use in cooking. Now the next line, what do you call, O ye peddlers? Call means here not to have a telephonic call, but to say something in a loud voice. So what do you call, what are you calling for, O ye peddlers? Now peddlers refers to the people who were selling the things. Chessmen and ivory dice. Now, chessmen, pieces used in a game of chess. First picture you can see that is of chessmen. These are the white and the dark colored pieces which we use in chess while playing chess. And the second picture is of ivory dice, a dice made of an elephant's tusk. Now, what do you make, O ye goldsmiths? Goldsmiths means the people who make objects from gold. So they are the goldsmiths. So what were they making? So they were making wristlet, anklet, and ring. Wristlet means something which we wear on the wrist. Anklet means a kind of ornament which we wear on ankle, and ring on the for the finger. Bells for the feet of blue pigeons. Pigeons means doves. So in those days, pigeons were kept to carry the messages from one place to another. So they were, pigeons used to be kept as pets. So the people who used to who used to keep pigeons, they used to tie, on their feet part, the kind of bells, so that it can be identified that those pigeons were theirs. So bells for the feet of blue pigeons. So those vendors were also selling things like bells which can be tied around the feet of blue pigeons. Frail as a dragonfly's wings. Now, the weight of those bells were as light as dragonflies wings. On the picture you can see many dragonflies wings are given, so that you can understand dragonfly wings, how it looks like and how light it is. Now, girdles of gold for the dancers. Girdles means a kind of belt. Those people, girls that in those days, maidens and girls used to wear. So the meaning is given also here: belts or thick strings fastened around the waist to keep clothes in position. So they were also selling girdles, those kind of belts, metallic belts of gold for the dancers, scabbards of gold for the king. Also, they were selling the things like scabbards. Scabbards means cover of swords made of gold. Means the kind of cover, in which swords are kept. So the second picture, one arrow is given, you can see that. After that, what do you cry, O ye fruitmen? Another question she asked. What do you cry means what are you calling for? O you fruitmen. Citron, pomegranate, and plum, those fruitmen, what they were selling? So they were selling citron, pomegranate, and fun. Children, here you mark the difference between citron and lemon. There is a slight difference between citron and lemon. Citron is a citrus fruit, greenish yellow in color, right? And lemon is also a citrus fruit, but that is yellow in color. Okay, the appearance is a bit different. Okay, now pomegranate, as you can see on the picture, and plum, these are the fruits which they were selling. What do you play, O musicians? Now there were some musicians for entertainment purpose, they were playing sitar, sarangi, and drum. Now sitar, first picture is of sitar, second picture is sarangi, and the third picture is drum. So sitar is a musical instrument used mainly for Indian classical music. In those days it was very prevalent. Now sarangi and drum, these are also Indian musical instruments. What do we chant, O magicians? Now they were also magicians and they were showing magic and they were chanting. Chanting means to recite any musical, any musical intonation. So they were asked, she was asking questions from magicians also, that what they were chanting. Spells for the eons to come. Now, spells here means a verbal formula believed to have magical force. Means they used to say something, they used to sing something, a kind of mantras, something like that. So here spells, so they were spelling, so that for the eons to come. Eons means extremely long period of time. So in those days there was a belief that magicians can go even to the past or even to the future. So they had the power to go to change the time. They had the power to do extraordinary things. So they were spelling for the eons to come. She was asking this question from the magician. What do you weave, O ye flower girls? Now there were also, apart from vendors, merchants, magicians, musicians, they were flower girls. And what they were doing? So they were weaving something with using tassels of azure and red. Now tassels, you can see on the picture, two types of tassels are given. First tassel is of azure color, means sky blue color, and the second tassel is of red color. So you can see meaning is also given, a group of threads that are tied together at one end, that is called tassel. And azure means bright sky blue color. Now crowns for the brow of a bridegroom, they were not only, weaving tassels, but they were also making crowns. In those days, crowns, during the marriage ceremony, the bridegroom used to wear this kind of crown. In Hindi it is called shehra, right? So crowns for the brow of a bridegroom, this kind of cap, this kind of crown is used to be worn by the bridegroom before going to get married. So here brow refers to forehead, and this crown is worn on the forehead, not on the head. Bridegroom here refers to the man who is going to get married. Now apart from crowns, they were also selling chaplets to garland his bed. Chaplets means those string of flowers which are, you can say, you can look at the picture, that which are there on the top of the bed. So chaplets to garland his bed, here his refers to bridegroom. Sheets of white blossoms, new garnered. Now, here it's given new garnered, that is past participle form, newly obtained or collected. So, they were also making sheets of, white, using white blossoms, which can be used to, sheets of white blossoms, new garnered, to perfume the sleep of the dead. Those sheets can be, can be used over the top of the dead body or over the top of the coffin, so that the dead person can sleep, at rest. Now rest at peace. So here perfume is a verb, and perfume means to fill fragrance or to aromatize. Okay. Now, this is what the description of the poem is. In the next video, children, I'll be discussing with you the question answers of the first chapter, the three questions, and the second chapter, that is in the bazaars of Hyderabad. So, both the chapters collectively, I'll be discussing the question answers of the both the chapters. Okay, so just wait for the next video. Thank you for watching.